Panic buying here in the United States begins once again. This is causing millions of Americans to spend beyond what they're comfortable spending and beyond what they even have. Millions of people are buying medicine ahead of schedule. They're buying food in mass supply because they're concerned about prices going up. Well, guess what? That's not a concern that they need to really worry about. However, that is something to be, aware of, because very soon we have a few things that are kind of on the schedule that could increase costs quite a bit for us right here in the US. So I'm going to break all this down in just a moment, explain what is going on, what people are doing, and why this is causing mass panic around the United States, where people are going to stores and buying out everything that they see. So again, I'll break all this down in just a moment, but all I ask is one thing. Takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now let's begin. So it's crazy to think that we are going back to the times where toilet paper was sold out, bottled water was sold out, and in many stores there were limits. You can only buy 1 or maybe 2 cases of toilet paper and bottled water. Well, guess what? It's happening again. And in this case, it's not because of a pandemic. It's not because of manufacturers are closing down. That has nothing to do with it. It's all because of price increases. Look at this. It says rebound in food prices set to be followed by trade uncertainty. It says global food commodity costs cap first annual gains since 2021, and markets brace for any trade wars under the Trump administration. Here's what you need to understand. Donald Trump has already said and vowed to implement tariffs on other countries. This includes China, Canada, Mexico, right? Countries in South America. Donald Trump has vowed to increase tariffs because he says we continue to tax the American people. We continue to tax the American people's income, okay? Any type of capital gains, right? Businesses, we tax just to the limit. But back in the 19 or 1850s, 1800s, we here in the US, we're not taxing the US citizens. We were using tariffs. Tariffs were the way that we paid for everything. We made other countries do it. The other countries had to pay, not the United States, but things changed. Now, if Donald Trump does implement tariffs, this is going to increase costs for food. It's going to increase costs for water, bottled water. A lot of it has to do with the plastics, okay, not the water itself. Again, we can recycle, but we still get the plastics and other materials elsewhere. Now, it's not just that either. And let's talk about food for a second. Okay, fruits, vegetables, certain cheeses that are coming from overseas, wines, right? We are taxing these, and it's going to increase costs. I want to show you something else, though. Look at this. This is an article from October 3rd. Okay, it says panic buying amid U.S. port strike is creating supermarket supply concerns. Now, here's the reason why I point out the date. The date of this was Thursday, October 3rd, 2024. The reason why that date's important is because this was right before the port strike. Okay, this is the port strike over on the East and Gulf Coast. Okay, what happened was the workers, the ILA, the International Longshoremen's Association, they decided they were going to go on strike because they wanted better pay, but they also wanted to ensure that on the East Coast and the Gulf Coast, in those ports, they are not using automation. They want employees actually working, opening up gates, moving containers, and doing all that stuff. Unlike the West Coast, where we use a lot of automation. Well, because the union didn't get an agreement, the workers decided they were going to go on strike. Well, here's what we know. This date of the new strike is actually set for January 15th, 2025. So in just 11 days, we could experience another port strike. If this happens, keep this in mind. People were panic buying because of that port strike, because they knew products were going to be in short supply. Also, keep in mind, some of the products that were coming in, there's got a lot of car parts, things like that, right? You don't need to panic buy that. But many businesses were buying products that items, right? Different car parts that they know they use quite a bit. They're buying them early to make sure that they had them just in case. Because again, keep in mind, if the port strikes do happen again on January 16th, so in just 12 days, we could see all those products, all the food, all the car parts, any type of retail product that's coming in, well, it's going to be sitting in those container ships. That's where it's going to sit. It will not be offloaded. So that's another issue and causing more people to panic buy at this time. Look at this one. It says experts say high food prices are here to stay. They're here to stay for multiple reasons. And another reason, and this isn't something that I've talked about a lot here on the channel, is that a lot of people are concerned because of the weather that we've been having. Okay? Even over the past few months, the weather hasn't been very consistent. It's been pretty sporadic. Because of that, many farmers are concerned that their crops will not produce like they did, 2 years ago, even 3 years ago. So we're going to see what happens there. But I want to read this to you. It says, inflation has steadily cooled over the past 2 years, despite seeing a slight stall in October and November. Prices for items such as gasoline, used cars, and energy have all declined accordingly. One of the big things is gasoline, fuel. Because of oil prices not going through the roof, because gas prices are very stable at this point and actually are coming down, experts believe we could see gas prices on a national average under $3 per gallon by the end of 2025. And if this happens, that would be great news for the American people, because one of the things that actually pushes prices up all across the board, like lumber, okay, vehicles, food, okay, everything that we use on a day-to-day basis gets more expensive as transportation costs go up, which means gas prices are going up. So if gas prices are going down, transportation costs become a little bit easier, which means prices will go down as well. That's good news. Let's keep reading this. It says more than 85% of consumers report feel frustrated with rising grocery prices, and over a third say they have resorted to buying fewer items to save money. I talked about this before back in 2020, 2021, is to make sure that you are doing something that you can use. So I was talking about having a garden, an indoor garden, a vertical garden, whatever you want to do. Plant some fruits, plant some vegetables. Make sure that you have something you can go and pick from a vine. And I said this because prices are going to be insane. I also told people this, that if you see a deal on seeds, buy them, because that's something that we are likely going to be using. Seeds, so that you can go plant them. Actually, there's a friend of mine who found a very good deal on seeds. I think at like Lowe's or Home Depot. It's like a hardware store. Found a very good deal, bought out everything, ended up selling it for triple what he paid for it. Everything that he purchased. He ended up selling it for triple, doing just actual yard sales, and I think he did like a flea market sale or something like that, and sold out everything for 3 times what he paid for it. That's how much people want seeds. I want to show you something else, though. Why people are panic buying. Look at this. It says retail apocalypse. Store closures surged 57% in 2024. The reason why more and more people are going to stores and buying things that they may not even need now, but they know they'll need it in the future, is because they're concerned that the store might not be there. I remember it was probably a year ago. Okay, I was at a Big Lots store, and the shelves were very empty. And I remember running into a guy that was buying up everything that was on clearance. Okay, buying up, and I'm not talking about like food that's going to expire. He's buying like toasters and all this other stuff that was pretty much marked down to the lowest it was going to be. And I remember asking, why are you buying all that stuff? Okay, like I knew, because I still sell on Amazon and stuff. I knew it wasn't profitable to buy that item to do retail arbitrage and sell it on Amazon. So I was curious, why are you buying it? He said, well, you never know when you're gonna need it. He had a warehouse full of items that he didn't know if he'd ever need, but he bought them because he was concerned, what if one day he does need them, but they're not there? It's interesting. Different type of person, but very interesting. Well, look at this. Big Lots end up going out of business. They were going to close all locations until just recently somebody bought them out and is going to save about 200 of the 400 remaining Big Lots locations. Well, for all those Big Lots locations that already sold out all their stuff, liquidated all their inventory, right, and closed down, well, it's tough luck for them, but for the other 200, they're still going to be in business. So we'll see what happens moving forward. All I can tell you right now is Americans are buying pretty much everything that they think they may need in the near future, simply because they are scared of empty shelves and store closures. But we'll see what happens moving forward. But that is what we know as of today. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.